Let's talk about emotions in advertising and how they can be used to influence you to buy a product or go along with a service.
All right. I am Chris Thompson from Mike Mandel Hypnosis. This is Mike Mandel.
Hello.
And we're going to use a really fun, well, you might not think it's fun.
Maybe
See,
not.
we're gonna use an example here of a video that we saw recently. We're gonna show it to you, and it's a video that is promoting veganism, and we'll come back to this,
which is fine.
But we're not debating whether or not veganism is a good thing, a bad thing, whether eating meat is a good thing, bad thing, etc. The video is about this. It's a very interesting video in how it uses children. So should we just roll straight to it?
Roll that pecker, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, let's roll the video. Okay, so short video, 45 seconds. Powerful, definitely pulls on the emotional strings. But let's, again, remind you, we're not here to talk about whether it's a good thing to be vegan or a bad thing.
No, we're not talking about veganism at all. We're hypnotists. We're talking about influence, which is very interesting.
So we're going to focus on the presentation, not on the content of the video. But let's just quickly recap then. So who was putting this video out there? Well, it's an animal rights movement.
Fine.
And what is their job?
What animal?
You got to remember, they're starting from the position of we don't want animal abuse, etc. So they're selling you on the idea of veganism.
Okay.
Now let's talk about how are they doing it.
Well, it's pretty clear that emotions are engaged right from the very beginning. Who doesn't want to protect innocent children? I certainly do. Anybody who isn't a monster wants kids to be safe and happy and so on. And the music that is used also adds to this emotional experience.
I mean, if you didn't watch the video at all and you just listened to the music itself, you'd be thinking, oh, this
chill.
Have a cup of coffee on a rainy Saturday morning.
Nice.
Chill. Everything's normal. It's all good. But when you pair that with little kids smoking cigarettes,
it's weird.
Ooh, it really
it has a jarring effect. I think this is our opinion. We're hypnotists, but what I've got to say is thank you, Aristotle, because they've used one of the three things that was expressed in ancient Greece as a way of using rhetoric, a way of controlling people's feelings, and that to be a good presenter or a powerful speaker. And they were pathos, logos, and ethos. Now, we're only going to look right now at pathos, which is when you engage the emotions, you're far more influential.
Okay, so they engage the emotions, obviously, by pairing the idea of would you give a kid cigarettes?
Of course not.
To would you give them bacon or burgers?
Right.
And without any kind of critical evaluation with the emotions, you might just be sitting there going,
no, damn it. I wouldn't give them either. They shouldn't
good
have
point.
Yeah,
exactly.
But the problem is, and Aristotle would agree with me, we can't check though, we're missing one of these three, which we're not going to talk about ethos, which is all about credibility and ethics and so on. That's fine. We're talking about logos, which is being logical. It's the word we get logic from. And there should be a logical connection between the emotions engaged and the conclusion that it's leading to. So how weird can these sort of commercial logical connections get? I remember seeing a commercial in the 1970s for, I believe it was Excedrin, a painkiller. And they said, most doctors believe, or something to that effect, that Excedrin is more effective than aspirin for pain other than headache. Okay. And then they said, so next time you have a headache, take Excedrin. Well, they just said it was for pain other than headache.
And they probably had some time. There was probably some time
misdirection
in there, right? So it's other than headache, then showing all these scenes of people.
And you mentioned doctors.
And resolving their pain. And then at the end, all of a sudden it's, so next time you have a headache, take Excedrin.
Right. So this is logos being violated again. There's no logical connection. So back to this thing with these lovely kids who are unfortunately smoking, and apparently it wasn't real cigarettes
Fake
or whatever.
Cigarettes.
Yeah.
Great job. Yeah.
Much better. But you think about this for a second. So the emotion is engaged. No, we wouldn't want kids smoking. So we wouldn't, because hamburgers and, luncheon meats and so on, these processed meats have been linked to cancer. And I don't doubt it. There's all sorts of nitrates and nitrites and other ingredients.
Yeah, there's factually, whether you agree with the methodology in determining this.
Right.
They are presenting you with a fact that some organizations said that processed meats are a cause of cancer. So
Right.
that's fine.
But here's the
that's a factor.
problem.
Right.
The conclusion then logically should be don't let kids eat processed meats. Not extend it to kids shouldn't eat meat at all.
Right. So,
Which is what veganism is, right?
And you can't, like, to be fair, again, we're not commenting on the correctness of the message. It may be a right message. It may be a not right
We're
message.
only talking about the techniques.
The thing is, in a 45-second commercial, you could never do a good job of logos. You could never put all the logic together.
Not possible.
In 45 seconds. So given that advertising must be packed into a short time window, you must engage emotions in order to sell your idea.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with engaging emotions. We're just talking about how cleverly this was used and how the conclusion does not logically fit
Right.
the premise, the initial premise.
And that's going to be the case in pretty much every advertising out there, right? Even our own advertising around joining the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy.
Right.
We might want you to feel an emotional appeal to learning a really cool skill. And which is great. I mean, you should do that. We could do a much longer form commercial on that. But you need to appeal to emotion, and you need to recognize that it's happening all the time. If you want to sell a message, you need to appeal to emotion. But you also at the other end of the spectrum, or the other end, when you flip it around, when you receive the message, you have to be realizing that you are being influenced by emotions.
That's it, guys. And realize, as hypnotists, we're just saying, regardless of the content we're looking at, when someone's emotions are engaged, they become more vulnerable to suggestion and influence. Good orators have used this forever. Just recognize when your emotions are engaged, your critical faculty becomes more permeable, and you're more liable to bite the hook.
All right. If you're interested in more about this kind of stuff and you want to formally learn hypnosis, check out the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy. While you're watching this, you may as well hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you'll be notified of our videos on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks again.
And good night.